Last night on the 49ers Report, we revealed the 2022 49ers schedule. On today's show, record prediction. We're going to go through it game by game, and I'm going to give you my game-by-game predictions. But first, if you're excited for the season to start because it's closely around the corner, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Let's talk some 49ers football right now. Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. And finally, we know who the 49ers are going to be playing, where they're going to be playing, when they're going to be playing. It's very exciting times within the faithful. And on today's show, record predictions. So we start off week one on the road against the Chicago Bears. I'm excited for this matchup because we're going to get a glimpse into the future for two future quarterbacks, hopefully, in Trey Lance and Justin Fields. I think San Francisco wins this football game. If you remember last year, 49ers started the year off slow, and then they go to Soldier Field. They end up coming through with the win that came down to the wire. That turned their season around. Here in 2022, I think it gets the 49ers season jump-started. Week two, they come back home, Santa Clara, Levi's Stadium, for their home debut in front of the faithful. I think the 49ers reverse course given the recent history between these two teams, and they beat the Seattle Seahawks to start the 2022 campaign a perfect 2-0. Week three, a really tough matchup on the road against the Denver Broncos. This is a Broncos team that's great offensively now with Russell Wilson. They have a bevy of weapons on that side of the ball. Defensively, they're really good, and it's a really tough environment. This will be a true test for Trey Lance. I think the Niners go down in this game to Denver, and they lose in a close one. Week four, they return home against the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions. And I think for the second consecutive week, the 49ers are tested. They have a litmus test against a future playoff team, first against the Broncos, then against the Rams. And I do think San Francisco loses this game as well to begin the first month of the season at an even 2-2 record. Before we continue to run through this schedule and I offer up my predictions, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Nobody's doing it like we're doing it here on the 49ers Report. San Francisco. The shirt says it all. Why should you subscribe? Free daily videos, news, rumors, watch parties, our draft and free agency coverage, absolutely top notch. We also go live every single week as well, both on YouTube and Rumble and on Call-In for a live interactive podcast. And we do audience interaction better than anybody. Hit that red subscribe button down below. We're closing in on 60,000 subscribers. We move forward with our predictions. Week five, the Niners will go on the road against the Carolina Panthers. I think San Francisco is victorious in this matchup. Could they be going up against Jimmy Garoppolo? Only time will tell. We'll see if a trade does ring true. Week six, Niners still on the road against another NFC South opponent. And look, I think the Niners are going to stay on the East Coast here. And I think they're going to come through with another victory against Atlanta. This one, the first blowout victory of the year for the Niners. Week seven, the Niners go from the East Coast all the way back to the West Coast, to the friendly confines of Levi's Stadium. This is going to be a good test to see where the Niners stand a few weeks into the regular season. Kansas City Chiefs, even though they lose Tyreek Hill, they reloaded through free agency, through the NFL draft. I think the Niners go back and forth with the Chiefs in this matchup as they ride the seesaw. I do think they fall in this game. Week 8 against the Rams, they go on the road to SoFi Stadium, the same scene where they lost in the NFC Championship game after they won in the final week of the regular season to punch their ticket to the playoffs. They exact revenge on the Rams after the earlier loss to Los Angeles. They come back and they even up the season rivalry 1-1. Which game on the slate are you most excited about? I'll tell you this, the Niners defense going to be tested. They're going up against some really quality quarterbacks throughout 2022. Let me know the number one game, though, you're most excited about in the comment section. Niners bye falls on week 9. I think it's a good point for the bye. Get an opportunity to sit back, recharge a little bit during the midway point of the season. Week 10, Niners get back on the football field at home against the Chargers. I think this game is going to be a loss. Chargers roster top to bottom, offensively and defensively, stacked. And Justin Herbert, I think, could go after the MVP this year. The Niners defense, especially that secondary, they have some breakdowns in coverage in this matchup, and the Niners fall to the Chargers. Week 11 on the road against the Cardinals. Niners win this football game. Now, in previous years, especially last year in 2021, they fell in both matchups to Arizona. I think San Francisco wins the first matchup against Arizona in a game that kind of comes down to the wire, but the Niners end up winning by a touchdown. Week 12, Niners come back to Levi Stadium against the New Orleans Saints. Producer Tracy's a Saints fan. Solely because of that, the Niners give the Saints an L, and they are victors in this game. If you want to bet on any of these matchups, do so with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You see that link at the bottom of your screen. It's chatsports.com/49bet, and the promo code right here, Niners125, 125% deposit bonus by using that link in that promo code. And you take a gander at the NFC West odds. Niners in second place, but I mean, that's something that you can expect with the Rams coming off that Super Bowl season. I think as we get closer to the season, these NFC West odds are going to change a little bit. Of course, injuries could come into play as well. A few more games to get to. Week 13 at home against the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel comes back. I certainly have questions about Tua Tagovailoa. Outside of that, Dolphins don't have many question marks. And oftentimes, the teams that win free agency are not the teams that end up having very successful seasons. I do think the Dolphins are going to be good this year, and I do think Mike McDaniel is going to be a good coach. This game, Mike McDaniel, he's able to beat his former boss in Kyle Shanahan and come through with the dub. Niners fall in this matchup. Week 14 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady comes to town. Look, there's a lot riding in this game for Tom Brady. He wanted to go to San Francisco after leaving the New England Patriots. Niners move forward with Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady went to the Bucs. It worked out for him. They won a Super Bowl season in his debut season in Tampa. But Tom Brady grew up in Northern California. He grew up as a Niners fan. He idolized Joe Montana. He was that candlestick for the catch. Joe Montana linking up with Dwight Clark, and because of that, Tom Brady able to get a win against his favorite team during his upbringing. Week 15 against the Seattle Seahawks. It's a dub. This Seahawks team is down. We have no idea who their quarterback is going to be. And at this point in the regular season, all of these matchups are very, very important. And coming off 2 consecutive losses at home to the Dolphins and the Buccaneers, now let's get back on track against Seattle. Will you be attending any games this year? Road trips? Any home games? Let me know. There are some really cool destinations to go to. You can go to Mexico for that Cardinals game, Buccaneers game. You can go on the road to a couple of other really intriguing destinations. Let me know if you're attending any games this year. And just let me know in the comments section. I'll be sure to give you some shout outs down in the comments. So we move forward throughout this 2022 slate. And after back-to-back losses against the Dolphins and the Buccaneers, they beat the Seattle Seahawks. 3 games left. And this is where things really get interesting in the NFL, especially in the NFC playoff picture that I think is going to be very closely contested. Washington Commanders, they're led by Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, little bit of a fraud. Niners win this game in Week 16 going away. Week 17, on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. An old-school rivalry game between 2 of the NFL's most iconic brands. There's a lot at stake here. Faithful to the Bay, Raiders ain't, Niners are. Niners come through with the win against the Raiders. Raiders, no, it's San Francisco. To round out the regular season, Week 18 against the Cardinals, I do think the 49ers lose this game after beating the Cardinals earlier on in the year. But it's all good at the end of the day because the Niners still make it into the playoffs. I'm not sure with Trey Lance as an inexperienced quarterback that they are going to compete and win the NFC West this year. I do think, though, that they can make it in as a wild card, and they do. Overall record prediction for San Francisco, it's the same as last year. But don't worry, I think the Niners offense is a little bit more explosive. I actually think that Trey Lance takes some strides throughout the year. Of course, there are going to be bumps in the road with an inexperienced quarterback. But the Niners going 10-7, year 1 as a starter for Trey Lance, that's pretty damn good. If you're excited for the season, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Feel free to say anything you want in the comment section. And let me know which game you're most excited about on the slate. Appreciate all of you for watching today's show. Have a great weekend.